Hello, I'm Elizabeth Vasquez for this special edition of Pico Rivera News. Today, we share the story of a place that has created a safe haven for animals, Farm Sanctuary in Acton, California. While Farm Sanctuary is not located within the city of Pico Rivera, it has played a pivotal role in the lives of 4 animals who once faced a short and uncertain future. Before we get to their story, let us first introduce Farm Sanctuary.
So Farm Sanctuary started in 1986 to raise awareness about the abuses of factory farming. So we started actually investigating farms, stockyards, and slaughterhouses. We found animals treated horribly, including some who were left in trash cans or left on piles of dead animals while they're still alive. So we started rescuing them, and that's how our sanctuary work began. So today we operate sanctuaries in New York State and here in California, where the animals get to live out their lives after they've come from abusive backgrounds. And they are our friends, not our food, and we encourage people to come and visit. So we educate people, and we also advocate for changes in the food system, where animals are treated better and where people are able to eat food that is nourishing instead of food that makes us sick.
Farm Sanctuary has long been dedicated to rescuing farm animals, advocating for animal welfare, and providing a permanent safe haven for animals rescued from factory farming. The connection to Pico Rivera begins here. In February 2020, a mother cow and her calf were rescued from a local slaughterhouse, an effort arranged by Oscar Award-winning actor Joaquin Phoenix. Just 1 year later, more than 40 cows escaped from that same slaughterhouse, an extraordinary event that garnered widespread local news coverage. While most of the cows were herded back, 2 remained at large. They were eventually found and arrangements were made for their rescue. Those 2 cows ultimately found their way to Farm Sanctuary. Here is Farm Sanctuary President Gene Bauer with that story.
Well, most of the cows who live here, 5, came from Pico Rivera, from Manning beef ultimately. And in a couple of cases, it involved a mother cow who gave birth to a baby, and the slaughterhouse owner did not want to kill them. So that's one circumstance where the animals have come here from Manning beef. Another circumstance has been where animals have escaped from the slaughterhouse and literally run for their lives. And we have a couple of those animals here as well. So Liberty and Indigo are 2 of our best known rescues here from Manning beef. And they were brought here by Joaquin Phoenix. And this occurred actually the day after he won the Oscar for Best Actor. And he gave a speech and he said, "Run to the rescue with love and peace will follow," quoting his late brother River. And the next morning, literally, we were at the slaughterhouse with Joaquin Phoenix to rescue Liberty and Indigo. And Liberty had given birth at Manning beef, and the slaughterhouse owner did not want to kill the mother and the baby, so connected with us and with others and Joaquin, and we were able to arrange for them to come here and to live at Farm Sanctuary. The day after he won the Oscar and said, "Run to the rescue with love and peace will follow," we were at the slaughterhouse to rescue a mother and a baby who came here to the sanctuary. And Joaquin, when he visited, talked about how the feeling at the sanctuary here was palpably different than the feeling at the slaughterhouse. At a slaughterhouse, it's a place of fear, it's a place of killing, it's a place of violence, and it's a place where human beings are behaving in ways that are not really aligned with our own humanity and our own empathy. So people kind of lose themselves at slaughterhouses, and animals lose their lives. And it doesn't have to be that way. So at Farm Sanctuary, we try to present a model of these animals as our friends, co-inhabitants of the planet. And when we live with them in a compassionate way, it's not only good for them, it's also very good for us. And it's a more peaceful experience, a more peaceful environment and ecosystem, a physical and also social ecosystem that you can feel, And Joaquin, when he came here, commented on how it feels so much different here than in the slaughterhouse. Joaquin named the 2 cows Liberty and Indigo. Liberty after his sister, Liberty, and Indigo after her late son, Indigo. And so Joaquin named them Liberty and Indigo. Well, the Phoenix family has been longtime supporters of animal rights and vegan living. And so when Liberty and Indigo were free, Joaquin knew about Farm Sanctuary, and so was very happy for them to come here. We also collaborated with the people at LA Animal Save that do vigils at slaughterhouses, including Manning Beef, and the old Farmer John that's now closed. And then also with Sean Munson, who's the producer of Earthlings, a film that was narrated by Joaquin Phoenix. So there was this community of friends and activists who do this work together and have worked together for decades. And it all just came together, the day after Joaquin's Oscar victory. So a few years ago, 40 plus cows escaped from Manning Beef, and they were running through the streets of Pico Rivera. And this isn't something you see regularly. So needless to say, there was an effort to herd them up and bring them back to the slaughterhouse, which for an animal rights person is very sad. Here they were running for their lives and were not allowed to live and enjoy their lives. So most of those cows were rounded up and brought back to the slaughterhouse to be killed. One of them, June, stayed at large and was captured a day or two later. And then they thought they had all of them, but there was one more, Susan, who was still at large for about a week before she was found. And once June was found and Susan was found, Farm Sanctuary was going to be their home, and they were here now, still living at Farm Sanctuary. And the fact that so many made a run for it shows that they don't want to be confined in a slaughterhouse. They want to live their lives. Just like cats, dogs, humans, and all animals, they want to live and enjoy themselves and enjoy companionship with other members of their species. Sometimes enjoy companionship with other humans or other kinds of animals. So this is a place where everybody is welcome, everybody belongs, and we just try to provide the best lives possible. The other cows who arrived here, June and Susan, were named by people who were involved in the rescue and who supported our efforts to get them out of the slaughterhouse industry into the sanctuary. So those were activists, allies, and donors.
A truly fascinating and heartwarming story about Liberty, Indigo, Susan, and June. Now that we know a little more about Farm Sanctuary and about the 4 Pico Rivera cows who now call the sanctuary home, let's take a closer look on how the Farm Sanctuary began and how the legendary rock group, the Grateful Dead, played a role in its creation. Here's President Gene Bauer.
In 1986, when we started, we were an all-volunteer, small organization, and the way we funded it was by selling vegan hot dogs out of our Volkswagen van at Grateful Dead concerts. So we traveled primarily up and down the East Coast, and we found a very open-minded audience there. People that were curious and exploring issues around them, including our food and how we eat and the consequences of our food choices. And I'm really happy to say that we've stayed in touch with the Grateful Dead community. Last year or the year before, we were at the Sphere in Las Vegas. We were invited by the band to have a table when the Grateful Dead played in Las Vegas at the Sphere for their Fare Thee Well tour in 2015. We worked with the band to get vegan hot dogs inside of Soldier Field in Chicago. That was a really beautiful moment. And I interviewed Bob Weir for our 35th anniversary, and he is now vegan. So it's been beautiful to have this long-standing relationship with the band and the community around it. It's a community of belonging, a community of people who are exploring how to be more peaceful in the world.
A pretty incredible connection to have. As President Bauer mentioned, there are actually 2 Farm Sanctuary locations, one in New York and one here in California. While the New York Sanctuary is larger, President Bauer has hopes of expanding the California location in the future.
At our farm here in California, it's primarily an animal sanctuary, and we have some land that's used for grazing, but we don't actually grow food here. At our farm in Watkinsville, New York, we actually have a garden and a vegan cafe, and we grow our own hay and cut our own hay. It's a much bigger facility, so we're able to do that. But we're going to be exploring opportunities to do similar work here in California, where we might be able to grow some food. We have, herbs, and we've got a fig tree here, and so small things like that. But there's a lot more we can do in that area. Eventually, we might have a pumpkin farm here. I would love to do that in the fall, right? But right now, a lot of the produce that comes to the sanctuary is grown at other farms, and some of it is volunteered, or some of it is donated, I should say.
Since its founding in the late 1980s, Farm Sanctuary has been a pioneer in animal rescue. Today, it stands alongside hundreds of sanctuaries around the world, collectively caring for tens of thousands of animals each day, watching them heal, grow, and live out their lives in peace.
When Farm Sanctuary started back in the 80s, there were no other farm sanctuaries, so we're the first. And there are now hundreds of farm sanctuaries literally around the world. We currently operate two, one in Watkins Glen, New York, one here in Acton, California. We care for close to 500 animals total between our two facilities, but as a movement, we're caring for, tens of thousands of animals around the world. But that's not our organization, it's our colleagues and friends and sister organizations. The idea is to encourage people to recognize that cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, other farm animals have feelings, and they are individuals who have memories, they have experiences, and their lives matter. And I believe that when we treat these other animals with kindness and respect, it brings out our own human empathy, which is a really important part of our humanity. And treating animals with kindness is not only good for the other animals, it's good for us.
When rescued animals first arrive, they are often stressed and unsure of what to expect in a new environment. President Bauer explains what happens during those first moments at the sanctuary and what animals can look forward to.
When we rescue animals and they first come here, we watch how they heal and they feel safe for the first time. And we experience joy together with these other animals. And every year for Thanksgiving, for example, we have a celebration for the turkeys, where instead of eating turkeys, we feed turkeys. And it's beautiful to see kids, watching these turkeys dig into their pumpkin pie and squash and have joy around this feast. And we enjoy that as well. So it's a place of mutual healing. It's a place of kindness and compassion and connection. And it's a place where the animals are individuals whose lives matter.
The animals here can expect to live long, natural lives. Like all living beings, animals can become sick, and caring for them requires not only compassion and dedication, but also professional veterinary care. President Bauer explains how the sanctuary ensures their health and well-being.
Once the animals come to Farm Sanctuary, they are guaranteed to live a full life, either here at the sanctuary or in an adoptive home. And what's interesting is that, animals raised for food are usually killed very young. Chickens, for example, raised for meat are killed at 6 weeks old. Pigs raised for meat are killed at 6 months old. Here they live years. Cows, in the dairy industry, are usually sent to slaughter after just about 3 years in production. Here they can live up to about 20 years. So once they come to Farm Sanctuary, they can grow old and die of old age, which is very unique. This is a place of peace. This is a place of healing. This is a place where we share land and air with other animals. We recognize that they are sentient creatures who deserve kindness, and we also very strongly believe that when we treat others with kindness, it also benefits us. We work closely with veterinarians, although it is sometimes pretty difficult to find veterinarians that treat farm animals the way we like them to be treated here. The agribusiness industry is very influential, including in veterinary schools. And veterinarians who study farm animal medicine tend not to look at individual farm animals. They look at herd health programs, and they don't tend to see them as living, feeling individuals. Now, thankfully, we have found some veterinarians who are more empathetic and who do care about individual farm animals, and we're very fortunate to have some of them working with us here. In the industry, farm animals are seen as commodities, and they're not worth very much money for the most part. So if you have a chicken who is sick, for example, and that chicken is worth a couple of dollars, if that, the industry's not going to pay for a veterinarian to come take care of that chicken. Or in the case of sheep and goats, they might also not be worth that much financially to the industry. So the industry, instead of giving them veterinary care and providing what's needed, will sometimes write them off instead, or send them to the slaughterhouse to be killed young. That's the typical kind of procedure in agribusiness, and that's actually how Farm Sanctuary started, by rescuing animals who were discarded by the industry, animals who were not economically profitable, and that the industry did not want to pay veterinarians to care for. So here at Farm Sanctuary, we do everything we can. We treat them like we would treat our cats or dogs or other family members. Their lives matter, and we try to show that here.
Given the care and attention the animals receive, one might expect them to be immediately trusting and affectionate. However, as President Bauer explains, many animals arrive after experiencing dire and traumatic circumstances. Over time, with patience and kindness, they learn to trust and adapt, often in remarkable ways.
Animals who come here had only experienced cruelty at human hands. And so it sometimes takes them a while to recognize they're in a safe place and they can trust us. And that when we approach them, it's not going to mean pain or some other unhappy experience. But what I've also seen is that the animals who are at the sanctuary, who have become acclimated and feel safe and are not afraid of us, become some of the best welcomers and teachers of the new residents who come here, because they see, oh, those cows are not afraid. Maybe it's okay to not be afraid. So just like human beings are social animals, and if we enter into an environment and everybody is stressed out and in a really bad mood, that affects us, right? And at the slaughterhouse, that's the environment these animals come from. But here at the sanctuary, everybody has what they need. They know that when a human being approaches, it's oftentimes to get a treat or to have some kind of positive interaction. And so the new arrivals see that the current residents are not afraid of us, and that makes an enormous difference, because we learn from those around us. Humans and other animals are social and learn from those around us.
Farm Sanctuary continues to do everything it can for the animals in its care. Yet for many animals still raised in industrial farming systems, inhumane practices persist. While recent laws have helped improve conditions, raising awareness remains essential.
When Farm Sanctuary started in 1986, there were about 6 billion farm animals raised and slaughtered in the U.S. Today, there are about 10 billion farm animals raised and slaughtered in the U.S. So the problem has increased, and it's also been fanned by global markets and the desire for meat. I think meat is connected to power, and with wealth and power comes more meat consumption, unfortunately. But there have also been some laws passed to restrict some of the worst cruelties. We passed a law here in California, for example, to give animals more space so they can't be confined so tightly in egg production, for example, where the chickens now have to have space to stretch their wings, which they didn't used to have. Pigs used for breeding are given in California and a few other states enough space to turn around and walk, which is unique because they had been confined in these 2-foot wide crates. So there have been some small positive steps. However, some of these small improvements have been used by the industry and exaggerated to make conditions sound a lot better than they are. So there's more awareness about how farm animals are mistreated. That's a good thing. But there's also now starting to be marketing approaches to sell humane products or cage-free, and those labels tend to sound a lot better than they are. So it's important for consumers to be mindful, and buying products from farms that are treating animals less bad is better than animals who are being treated more bad, but it's still usually pretty bad. And at the end of the day, we can each make choices to choose to eat more plants and fewer animal products. That, I think, is the most important and best choice people can make. And in addition to eating plants instead of animals, I encourage citizens to get to know the farmers that are producing their food. The more removed we are from the source of our food, the easier it is for us to be misled and told things that are not accurate. So I support farmers markets. I support community support agriculture programs, community garden. I support the idea of community-oriented agriculture as opposed to industrial commodity factory farm production for animals or plants even. So we're supporting and promoting a community-oriented plant-based food system, which we believe is not only good for animals, but also good for consumers, good for the earth, good for communities. And in certain areas, potentially Pico Rivera, there could be opportunities in this food, not lawns movement. There is more acreage in this country in lawns than there is acres to produce fruits and vegetables. Could you imagine if instead of mowing lawns and pushing a lawnmower and putting down fertilizer, gardeners were gardening and producing produce? And then you had neighbors with different yards with a plum tree or a peach tree or a fig tree, or some with carrots and some with broccoli. And then you can create a community of like abundance around food, and also good jobs. You know, instead of pushing a lawnmower, gardeners build skills. And then you can have a local farmer's market, and homeowners, instead of paying somebody to just mow the lawn, actually also get a box of produce. And so these are the kinds of solutions that I think are in our midst that we're encouraging people to think about. You know, we all live on this planet. We all have to eat. Our food choices have profound impacts on other animals and on ourselves. It's been estimated that we could save 70% on healthcare costs in this country by shifting to a whole food plant-based diet. 70%. And the suffering that goes with heart disease, diabetes, and these common diet-related illnesses could be addressed by shifting away towards eating whole food plant-based. And if we're growing food, we're more likely to eat that food. So this is where gardening and community-based agriculture is, in my view, very exciting. It's interesting how sometimes when schools take kids on field trips, that they don't go to the slaughterhouse. And there's a reason for that. Slaughterhouses are violent, traumatic, bloody places, and they're not good for anybody. You know, the animals or the people that work there or people who visit, where violence is so normalized. I would love for there to be more field trips to vegetable farms, fruit farms, plant-based farms. I'd love there to be much more plant-based farms, and opportunities for people also to make a living in food and agriculture and culinary arts. There's immense potential here. We all eat. Again, the food industry has immense potential to transform the way we relate to other animals and the planet. But when you have a meat-centered food system like we do now, we're taking up vast acreages, you know, destroying ecosystems in the US, destroying rainforests in the Amazon to feed farm animals. Now, if we ate plants instead of animals, we could also rewild and let these wild spaces continue to exist, and more wildlife habitat as well. In addition to destroying ecosystems, we're losing species in this country and around the world. And when you look at the mammals on Earth, you know, because we're destroying ecosystems, we're destroying wildlife habitat. And if you look at the mammals on Earth, only 4% of the mammals on Earth now live in wild spaces. 96% are either human or domesticated, mainly farm animals. In the case of birds, 70% are domesticated, 30% live in the wild. We got a friend here, huh? Hello. How are you doing? These donkeys are very friendly, little sweeties. This is a mask for flies. Farm Sanctuary's goal is to combat and ultimately to end factory farming, to prevent the cruelty that the animals endure, but then also to promote a healthier food system that is good for animals, good for people, and good for the planet. And this is plant-based, so instead of raising animals and slaughtering them, we're eating plants directly. This is a lot more efficient. In the US, 10 times more acreage is used to grow food to feed farm animals than to grow food to feed people. Most of the US land is used to feed farm animals. We could feed so many more people with less land and fewer resources by shifting to eating more plants and fewer or no animal products. So we work to stop the cruelty of factory farming and to promote a more sensible, efficient, healthy, humane, plant-based food system. We have an amazing staff here, people who care about our mission, who believe that we can create a kinder world, and they share the dream of a kinder world. So we're very fortunate in that way. We're also very lucky to have so many amazing volunteers who care about these issues and who want to make a difference. And so we have staff, we have volunteers, we have people all over the country who care and who are getting involved. One of our most important values, I think, at Farm Sanctuary is that we speak to people where they are on their own journeys. So we're happy for people to do whatever they can to support us. And part of this could also involve changing the way we eat. Now, I've been a vegan since 1985, but we also recognize that not everybody's going to go vegan. So each step we can take towards eating more kindly, eating fewer animal products, or avoiding the most cruelly produced animal products are steps in the right direction. You know, having this place near Los Angeles has allowed us to reach many folks, including in the entertainment industry. And, you know, for years we've had friends like Joan Jett, for instance, come and visit. And more recently, you know, Billie Eilish was here, Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara have been here. You know, we're just very fortunate that people care and people show up. And if they're people with that are well known, like celebrities, it can really make a big difference. Everybody can get involved by making more compassionate and mindful choices about what they eat every day. And they can also get involved by going to our website, farmsanctuary.org, signing up to receive emails from us, and coming out here and volunteering, and coming to our events at the sanctuary here in Acton. We do public tours on Saturdays and Sundays, and we have private tours on Fridays. Hope! Hope! She came here to Hope arrived. Hi, Hope. A kiss? Oh, what a cutie. Hope. She gives us all hope. Hope gives us hope. They're like cats and dogs, and they just want to be loved, like everybody.
This is truly a fascinating story, not only about Farm Sanctuary, but about the 4 Pico Rivera cows who now live safe, peaceful lives there. We hope you enjoyed this story. We would like to thank President Gene Bauer and the entire Farm Sanctuary staff for welcoming us, sharing their insights, and providing us with a tour of this remarkable place. For the City of Pico Rivera, I'm Elizabeth Vasquez, and this has been a special edition of Pico Rivera News.